like when you see me coming back through there, and that reverence and that admiration, is that sounds like what you're talking about? Like
It's
to
exactly
see
what it's talking about.
see people that you indirectly or directly mentored and developed, like coming back to you saying, "Man, thank you, I
Yeah,
love you, I appreciate you," and trying to somewhat emulate the
yeah.
example that you set.
That's the reward. That's success to me. Because when you tell me you love me, and when you say that, um, you know, I've impacted your life in a positive way, that means everything to me because I don't want to do anything that takes away from that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to take advantage of. I want to be like, you know what? There are lights in this world, and I see you as a light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to protect that, and I want to be able to say, well, you know what? This was my investment,
Mhm.
not this. I've got this, but I've got so many investments now that at this age, folks come out the penitentiary. They'll bring the homie up and say, you know what? Thank you, brother Jeff, for telling me to stay in school. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? All of those little different things, folks that became doctors and incredibly successful business individuals, and it's all because of an investment of time. It didn't cost any money. Like a lot of folks now are talking about how much funding they got to get. That's cool. Get the funding. You need money to do what you need to do. However, it doesn't take anything to pull a young person aside and say, "How are you doing?"
Yeah. If someone is like, watching this, they're like, I'm trying to get started. I want to get an activist, or I want to be like, what would be some advice for somebody that doesn't know how to get started? They got the fire, they want to help, they want to get out there, but they don't necessarily have the know-how. What would just be some simple advice that you would provide to them?
I always tell folks about three things: identity, purpose, and direction. First, do you know who you are?
Identity, number one.
And then purpose. Why am I here?
Mm.
And then direction. How do I get to where I'm going? That's where the mentor comes in. A good mentor is not going to let you keep bumping in the wall unless they're using it as a teaching tool. Someone will pull you to the side and say, well, let's go this way.
Some of the best advice I got from you, I'll never forget it. I've always been ambitious. You know this.
Of
Ever since
course.
I was young, I was ambitious. And I remember coming to you, and I remember asking, I ran like 5 ideas at you at one time. And you was like, whoa, 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 T. Like, you got to start with one and do that one really good. And then you add on to that.
Yeah.
But you trying to do 5 things at the same time, like, you overwhelm me just by saying all the things that you want to do. Like, start with that one thing. And that's something it's funny I use that. Like, if people heard me give you the credit, they be like, I say it so much now
Yeah.
that they would think it was me that said it, but I actually got it from you. And I think for me that was like a defining moment in our relationship, because you said it so cool. I love it all, T. You got a lot of good ideas, but you got to start with one of them.
Yeah.
And take that first idea and then make that work and build on that.
That's like when you talk about, getting to the next level, you're talking about a pro formula. I don't know about anybody else, but most folks that are high functioning and very successful in a lot of different ways, they can do a lot of different things. And then they're also sometimes piled on by individuals who take advantage of that. You do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. No, you do it. Because they can count on you. And you'll be so busy being counted on, you can't focus on what you're doing.
Mm.
And so a pro formula is the ability to say no.
Mm.
Try it. If you want to test a relationship, say no. And then see how that response is based on you not being able to be what someone expects you to be
For them.
for them. You know what I mean? And so I'm one of those individuals that's a visionary. If you give it to me, I can see it. You know what I mean? Or I could see the potential and the possibilities. And then my mind will start doing all of this. But I can only do one thing at a time. And so a lot of folks who are attempting to get to a certain level, they're doing so much that they're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's motion versus progress.
Yes, and so
They got a lot of. It's like you running on the treadmill, but you're not going anywhere. Like, yeah, you got a whole bunch of motion,
yeah.
but progress is actually getting out there and making step and moving forward.
My thing is, if you want to be successful, first of all, figure out what you want to be successful at. If I tell my mind I want to be successful, my mind is going to be having a question mark. But I tell folks in terms of a pro formula, write it down. Write it down. Like WID.
Ding, ding, ding.
Write it down.
Okay.
And now your mind is focusing on something. You know, you look at it and you say, okay, now I can just, this is what I'm focusing on. And so a long time ago, I said, what am I going to do? 1, 2, 1, 0, 0. And I could always see that. 1, 2, 1, 0, 0. And I could just look at it. I could put it on the wall, or I could see it in my mind. If somebody's what I'm going to do, I'm going to make $1 million in 2 years, create 10 jobs, 10 businesses, and 100 jobs. That was my formula. $1 million, 2 years, 10 businesses, 100 jobs. But, you know, and then the journey is one thing, you know, because $1 million then was like a big deal. That today it might be $1 billion, you know, but have I been able to achieve a financial goal? Like, what is your financial goal? What are you worth financially? And folks just say, you know, like, no, what do you know how to do that someone will pay for? You know what I mean? That someone will take their hard-earned dollars and exchange it with you because you are excellent at what? And it ain't the hookup. You know, folks like, I just need the hookup. Like, I'm looking at these cameras. I'm looking at this setup. It takes money.
Yeah.
Now somebody says, but I could do that. Now anybody can open up and do, but are you an artist? Like, if I see your work, is there quality in it? You know what I mean? Does somebody look at it and say, how did you accomplish that? Who knows how to do that? Like, what is it that you know how to do? And what is it, and particularly if it's your gift, what you do is you look at in terms of, I don't care what the field is, you know, who is doing it at the highest level? When you measure yourself between the highest level and you, have a good reality check. And then you study the best at it. Whoever is the best at it, folks ain't studying the worst at it. Ain't nobody went into and said, let's look at some scrubs. Like, okay, you're looking at the tapes. You're like, this one knows how to do that, and this is why they know how to do that, and this is why we're studying the tape, because when they do that, we're going to do. So now what do you got to do? You got to study. And so if you want to study success, study successful people. Like your program, you talk to a lot of successful people, and you will see that there's a common thread as it relates to what they do.
That's right.
So no matter what it is, first of all, like you said, vision, consistency, dedication, sacrifice. I can't find anybody that's been successful that didn't sacrifice. Like, for example, when everybody's partying, you're not. Why? Because you're either in them books or you're studying your craft. If you want to be nobody, just don't do nothing. You want nothing, don't do nothing. It's easy. That's the
simple.
That's
That's simple.
Don't do nothing, you won't have nothing. That's easy. But if you want something, you got to do something. You know what I mean? And if you're not willing to do something to become the best, then you are going to be leaning on individuals to do for you what you wouldn't do for yourself. Study success. If you want to be free, study things that are free. A slave can't run you to nothing but another master.